Hey guys, this is G Talking Trampoline and welcome back to I don't know what I do with my life because I recently found out that I actually have a thing for old men. But anyway, this is fine while my room is on fire. AKA the Grunkle Dating-Sim. Let's get right back into it. Dungeons, dungeons, and more dungeons. Great. Oh shoot, did you look at the plans earlier? Those were for Dungeon Master's eyes only. If I'd known you were gonna join us. Let's not even though I want to say this, let's just say I didn't look. Don't worry, I didn't look. What a relief. Uh-huh. No, wait, what if you're lying to get an edge in the game? Is this legal? Grunkle Ford? You... Oh my goodness, you stress kip deluxe. What? I didn't hear. I was just categorizing these DDMD looks. How many volumes do they have these days? Dipper and Ford put the final pieces in their place. The fort is encircled in a mix of propped up corkboards, books, maps, notes, and loose leaf paper. Ford unfolds a game board in the center of the madness. Brilliant, we're all ready. Don't look so nervous, Elise. You'll have me here to walk you through it. Ford sits down next to the game board. He pats the piece of carpet next to him, inviting you to sit, and you do. Dipper sits across from you on the other side of the game board and unfolds an illustrated piece of cardboard, propping it up in front of him. He notices your questioning gaze on it and he looks back at you. Oh yeah, this is the Dungeon Master screen. It's just here to protect my secrets. It hides essential die rolls and plot points from prying players' eyes. Grunkle Ford's tried to look ahead once or twice and spoiled a narrative twist, and you were the only player. I'm just making sure my dungeon mastering apprentice stays on his toes. You can never be too vigilant. Dipper gathers up his dice in a pile next to DM's screen, ready to roll when needed. Now, I mentioned an extra dice set, didn't I? Dice are an important, though by no means essential, component of gameplay. No adventurer should leave the house without a set. I keep mine in the souvenir velvet dice bag from Dimension, a local game store. Yes. Nice save, my dude. Ford retrieves a dark drawstring bag from his coat and empties it onto the floor, where dice of all different shapes and sizes come tumbling out. And now for yours. Ford pulls another matching drawstring bag from the depths of his coat. How many pockets do you have? Do you just sew them in yourself? They were having a buy one get one discount. Go ahead, take a look. These will be yours for the session. You pour these dice onto the carpet as well, metallic gold with the numbers embossed in black. Fancy. Well, I didn't have enough left to make them from solid gold. I was able to electroplate a set for fun. Well, you made these yourself? Holy crap. Great Uncle Ford, you electroplated those dice? They're so nice. That didn't mean to rhyme. Maybe you should be the one with the rapping career, not G Knomizy. Ford and Dipper laugh. Yeah, maybe not, but anyway, let me reintroduce our characters. Dipper clears his throat, settling into the Dungeon Master persona. When we last left our heroes, Myth the Meddling trapped the great elven wizard Vernon and the halfling fighter Tyrus in a dungeon filled to the brim with puzzles, riddles, and brain teasers. To reach Myth and end this journey once and for all, they'll have to brave the dungeon's mysteries and escape with their lives intact. Dipper sets two figurines side by side on the game board. One is an imposing figure in flowing robes and the other is much shorter in comparison, but posed with a will to prove himself. You suppose the former is Vernon and the latter is Tyrus. But what would our two heroes find in the first room of the dungeon but a potential ally, just as... Stupid ass poster keeps falling off my wall. Never mind. Just as trapped as they are, who will join them in their quest for freedom? Dipper places three figurines on the carpet just off the side of the game board. And you get to choose your character now, Elise. These starters with pre-made templates. These are starters with pre-made templates, so they're good for short notice editions like this. You really come prepared, don't you, Dip Dip? Choose your character: human bard, dwarf fighter, orc rogue. Human bard. I like music. Bards use invigorating song to encourage their allies, or the blow of their insults to damage their enemies. I've kind of reevaluated my stance on boards lately. You'll come in handy if we encounter... Wait, what? Oh my god, I can't talk. I've kind of re-evaluated my stance on bards lately. You'll come in handy if we encounter any undead. Will we? Maybe... Hey, stop trying to play ahead. Be a human bard? Yes. Definitely. Absolutely. Dipper moves your figurine onto the board beside Vernon and Tyros. Alright, what's their name going to be? Alex, short for Alexander... What? Alexandre Rios. You hear Ford trying Alexandre Rios out under his breath a few times. Just call them Alex. Here's your character sheet. It's got all the info on it. Okay, attributes. Strength, dex, con, int, wish, cha. Elven wizard. Halfling fighter. Okay, which one is the elven wizard of you two? I bet it's Ford. I bet Ford is the elven wizard. And Dipper is the Tyros, the halfling fighter. What's in my inventory? A loot, candles, costumes, water skin, disguise kit, rations, mystic amulet, hourglass, jade pendant, and a golden bell flower. Isn't that nice? Our heroes encounter Alexandre Rios, Alex for short, in the first room of the dungeon. Alex, what's your deal with our main villain, Miv the Meddling? Miv promised me eternal glory, but left a dagger in my back instead. Alex explains how she struck Miv's ire, and in turn Tyros shares that Miv once bested him in a duel, an embarrassment because Miv is a sorcerer, and sorcerers are known for their physical combat skills. In Tyros' defense, he was still young at the time. But none of this matters because to finally face down with Miv, they must escape. Ooh! Proceed with caution, homies? Ooh, spooky, spooky, spoop, spoop. Wow. A hand. Shooting star with waddles in it. And Stan and... Dang! This is some really, really nice art. I see you there, Cypher. Go fuck yourself. In the ass. In the eyeball with the cactus. Behind you is a plain door. On the far wall of the room is a set of red doors, and to the left and the right are old stained glass windows with weirdly familiar motifs on them. Where have I seen those before? Having woken up here with no recollection of getting here at all, you have no way of knowing which door you came in, should go out of, or even what direction you should head in at all. And now you guys decide what you want to do. You might want to look around first. And by that, of course, we mean rolling a die to see if we can notice anything. The outcome of nearly every substantial choice we make is tied to a roll of the dice. I'll let you choose what to do here, Elise. Then I'll, Don't smash a window! Take a look around. Let's follow Dipper's advice. As the dungeon master. Ford shows you what to roll for the inside check, and Dipper flips through his notebook, ready to tell you what you see. Huh, nice roll. Tacked to one of the walls in this room is a note that reads, "Proceed with caution, homies." Tyros pockets the note, and in the distance you hear the faint sound of rushing water. What do you do next? What's the state of the door behind us? See for yourself. I'm still the DM. I can't respond unless you check the door. Ford casts Detect Magic and after confirming with Dipper that there is no magic behind the door, pushes it open. The three of you leave through the door. Nice. As the last of you step through the doorway, it melts, seeping into the wall as if it were never there. Guess we're not going back that way. The chandelier overhead ignites, casting the room in a warm orange glow and revealing an impressive door on the far wall. In front of it is a large cloth-covered lamp. Take a look around. You roll for insight just like earlier. You approach it to inspect it. As your footsteps grow nearer, the lamp shifts, rising to reveal that it is in fact a goblin. The goblin stands to attention and tries to pretend it was never asleep. Travelers, I notice thee and demand you answer these riddles 3. Let's insult the goblin. No. Insult the goblin. Why the fuck not? I'll let you do that, but only if you actually say what insult you're going to use. I would, but it's not kid-friendly. Dipper makes a half-horrified face, but Ford laughs. Dipper, how about Elisa tells me and I be the judge? I'll be completely impartial. Dipper seems like he's trying to think up a non-kid-friendly insult himself when he gives Ford the go-ahead. And you write your finely crafted insult on paper and hand it to Ford. He raises a brow. Not bad. Half damage, but with a chance to score a critical hit. Take the D38 and D10. And you rolled? That's a definitive success. The goblin breaks down in tears and vanishes as if he'd been teleported out of there. With the goblin gone, all that remains is the door. Sweet. I cast Detect Magic the door. The door is steeped in magical energy, and you suspect it's what's keeping the door closed. You follow the energy back to its source, a brass knocker in the shape of a lion's head, which begins speaking. To unlock what lies beyond, tell me, what is your desire? Which one of us is it talking to? The lion's head looks past Vernon and Tyrus and towards Alex, its eyes glowing ruby red. What is it you desire? Wisdom. As the lion's head disappears, you feel like you've learned a deep personal lesson except without having learned anything at all. Alex gets a +1 to wisdom rolls for an hour. The door swings open and Vernon, Tyrus, and Alex step forward into the next room. As soon as you enter this next room, the wall melts over the doorway, sealing you in. Glancing around, the far wall of the room seems to be of different material and color than the rest, though it could just be the lighting. To the left you see rows of light affixed to the wall. Okay, let's save. Inspect the lights. After inspecting and interacting with the lights for a few minutes, you come to realize a few things. There are 26 lights, you can touch them to make them glow, you can only touch 6 of the lights at a time, and once 7 are touched, all lights fade to their original color. Each light is labeled with integers that run consecutively from 1 to 26, starting from your leftmost right. Looks like we need a password for this one, Elise. If the puzzle is fair, it must be a word we've already been introduced to. One that stands out. You think, and think back to that first room, when Tyrus pocketed the note from the first room of the dungeon. What was that word again? Homies? You spell out homies, and all the lights illuminate in unison and disappear. The room rumbles, and you turn around to find a green glass door. Walking up to get a closer look, you see that engraved on this door is a riddle. The door reads, if you go into the green glass door, you can bring a ball but not a bat. You can bring a book, but you can't bring a novel. You can bring coffee but not tea. You can bring letters, but you can't bring numbers. If you wish to pass, you must present an acceptable offering. Interesting one, Dipper. Let's think. A ball, but not a bat. I think I understand, Elise. Elise, what could you bring through the door? Oh, jeez. I'm not smart at all, okay? I think that's going to be a turn-off for Ford. I don't know how much he values smartness in a partner, but I'm actually not that smart. Okay. You can bring a book, but you can't bring a novel. You can bring coffee, but not tea. You can bring letters, but you can't bring numbers. You can bring a ball, but not a bat. Did I save already? Did I save? Let's save. Let's go with the hourglass. I offer my Baron's Book of Spells. And Tyros offers his cutlass. The door dissolves, letting the party pass through. While Dipper's flipping through his notebook for the next part in the dungeon, Ford nudges you, holding up a hand for a high 6. That was a nice job, Elise. I'm impressed you got the riddle. Wait, I got it? Holy shit, that's actually pretty good. Is it hot in here, or is it just a side effect of the green glass door disintegrating? You high 6 Ford, beaming as Dipper finds the page he needs to continue the game. The green glass door swings open. You go through to freedom. And there it is! It's the end of the dungeon. I cut it down a bit on the fly. I didn't want to make it too long. Aww, but I wanted to play more. It was actually a lot of fun. I might sign up for a Dungeons and Dragons website now. I would have ran a murder mystery if I'd planned out for ages, but my test runs have never gone very well with my focus group. So, what do you think? So what happens next? When do we fight the sorcerer? This was actually a transition into the next super plot-centric campaign about infiltrating the sorcerer's tower castle. Dipper shows you a couple pages of his campaign book, which looks to be filled with various dungeon sketches and with realistic physics calculations crowded into every spare space. Well, Dipper, I think you did well. It's not easy adding in an extra player on short notice like that. I always write it just in case. Not completely, but just a few notes. Ford and Dipper launch into a conversation about dungeon mastering as they clean up the D&D setup, returning into game's components to their originally glossy fantasy box. They're too fast and practiced for you to figure out how to help, so you just pick up the dice Ford lent you and return them to their original velvet bag. Dipper leaves to put the D&D box back upstairs, and then it's just you and Ford. Elise, you did well for a first-timer. I take you into a dungeon with me. I mean, what kind of dungeon? What kind of dungeon? Huh? What kind of... Ford gives you an embarrassed smile, but you're already smiling at him yourself. I know what you meant. Thanks, Ford. A call comes from the kitchen from what sounds like Stan. Haha, well, I'd talk more, but I'd better see what he needs. Ford moves past you, heading towards the kitchen. You suddenly feel the need to hold on to this moment, like you need to say something. Ford? Yes? Now that he's looking at you again, you don't remember what you were going to say. All you say is, here's your set of dice back. Thanks for letting me use it. Ford chuckles, shaking his head. No, you keep it, in case you decide to join us again next time. See you at dinner, Elise. Oh gee, I got to keep the dice. I feel so flattered now. Can you give me dating tips? You're good at this. No, I'm not. I'm a dork. Why do you think I'm single? Someone thumps their fist on the storage room, steering you from sleep with a jolt and a thud as you fall off the mattress. Elise, oh, it's the wedding. Okay, skip. I don't even want to imagine this marriage feeling. Skip. On the roof. He's on the roof. Skip. It would give me no greater honor. Oh, wait. I have here with me 3 glasses of water, so I don't have to get up for a water break. But I do need to be careful drinking it because I don't want to get up for a pee break either. Mabel runs back into the house, comes back, fluffy pillow, blah 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 blah. Hey dudes! Mabel needed a ring bearer for the wedding. Okay. Earrings. Oh, that looks great. They're extras on really cool music video now. Now, Elisa, that's such a cute idea. Skip. Wait, what? No! I think I missed some important dialogue by doing that. So stupid. Okay, no, don't overwrite. Let's go back for a second. Hourglass. Skip. When do we fight the sorcerer? Skip, 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 skip. Imagine his marriage failing. Skip. On the roof. Skip. Green with no greater honor. Skip. Like fun earrings. Okay. Now don't skip, for fuck's sake. Blah 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 blah. She didn't make you do it. No. No, she didn't. Ford takes a step forward on the patio, peering down at you through his cracked glasses. You'd be somewhat intimidated if it wasn't for the fact that he's blushing. I appreciate that you occupied the kids for Stanley and I while we were out. Both of them seem to like you being around. You grin at him with a shrug. It's no problem. They're fun to hang out with, even if I'm going to have some extra strange photos in Mabel's scrapbook at the end of it. Ford smiles, sweet and almost kind. It's your turn to turn red when he looks at you like that. No, fuck's sake. Can I have both? Can I have both grunkles? Both is good. Indignant nod, both is good. Well, if you'll excuse me, I've got things to get back to. Yes. He walks past you and into the house, Stan following soon after. Stan elbows Ford and it looks like he muttered something to him, but you can't hear what it was. Whatever he said, Ford looked scandalized. Hey Lise, you're gonna miss the party, we've got popsicles. I call the red ones. Pineapple ones are mine, I call dibs. But the pineapples ones are the best ones. Ford gingerly picks out a purple ice pop. While Stan and Mabel aren't looking, you hide the pineapple popsicles at the bottom of the chest. Starts laughing, doesn't tell. They're a strange bunch. Yay! It's another day of summer with nothing to do but wait. Let's save right here. Your schedule's surprisingly clear today. Ford usually has something going on for you to help with, and if not, Stan, Suze, or the kids do. Who do you want to find? Let's find Ford, because this is Ford's path. You pass through the living room and Mabel spots you from her seat at the table. Elise, I was hoping I'd see you. Come on, I want to ask you something. Mabel points down at the table with a raspberry pink colored pencil. Her art supplies scattered across the table lie across various sheets of paper with brightly colored doodles and lots of glitter. You see a drawing that looks like a cross between Barney and Godzilla, a page full of puppies, and a page with a drawing that kind of looks like you with... Is that Ford or Stan? Mabel's not finished with it yet, but the telltale jawline gives it away. You sit down at the table across from Mabel, suddenly get the same feeling you get at a job interview. It's intensified when she pushes her organized chaos of papers aside and steeples her fingers over the table's surface. Elise, I'll be frank. I've been trying to find a match for my grunkles for a while, but I never seem to get their matches made. Sorry, a match? But then it's like you were pulled from thin air, attracted to the shack by a magnet of love. It was a sign, and this week just made the chemistry you share with him obvious. You know who I'm talking about, right? Ford. You're talking about Ford. Yes. Grunkle Ford's great with family, but he's still guarded. You're the first new person I've seen him actually get interested in. Maybe if you get to know him, he'll see that social interactions aren't so hard, and maybe love was on his horizon all along. Love? That's a jump, to say the least. And anyway, though you've had the chance to share some quality time with Ford, you still feel like there's a huge part of the story you're missing. How much do you even know about him anyway? And why do you want to know so much more? Mabel, Ford, and I haven't spent all that much time together. Sure, we shared a couple adventures, but nothing. Adventures are the perfect bonding material. I know that firsthand. But you know what would really get this chemistry going? No, but I bet you're gonna tell me. Talking to him? What? No, I'm thinking of something more romantic. Hold on, I'm getting an idea. I'll get everything ready, Elise. You just focus on falling completely and utterly in love. Matchmaker Mabel is back in the game. Hey, dipped up. Come to interrogate me? His arms are crossed and he's looking at you dubiously. So you heard about Mabel's plan? How do you? I just left the room. Yeah, well, word travels fast and Mabel sends out mass update texts. His defensive posture softens a bit. Just tell me one thing. I know my grunkles can look after themselves, but can you promise you won't hurt Grunkle Ford? You can trust me. Okay, Elise, I'm remembering that. A text notification sounds and Dipper checks his phone. And be ready at any time for your date with Grunkle Ford? Ugh, this feels awkward enough. No offense, Elise, it's just my Grunkle Ford actually going on a date? Do old people even date? Kind of hard to wrap my head around. I hope Mabel doesn't ask me for my help tomorrow. I mean, I have enough trouble trying to date for myself. Mabel calls from downstairs. Hey, Dib Dub, I'm gonna need your help tomorrow. Well, never mind. During the next few days, you, Ford, and Dipper get further into the DDMD campaign, and you left off on, and you have time to flesh Alex out to complement Tyrus and Vernon on the team. Dipper tells you the 3-person troop is typically small for a DDMD group, but you've been getting the hang of the game, mostly from taking advantage of Ford's helpful nudges in the right direction. You've noticed Ford staring at you during the game sometimes, and you can't deny that you've been caught doing the same. After your fateful chat with Mabel, you're on edge and wait for her to pull something out of her sleeve. Every time she bursts into her room with fistfuls of crayons, you jump at least a foot in the air. But you've been doing your best to pretend everything is normal, or at least as normal as it gets in Gravity Falls. You ventured out into the town earlier today and did some tourist-worthy exploring, and ran into the Pines family at Greasy's diner about an hour later. According to Giddy Dipper and an exasperated Ford, a door to another plane had appeared in the fridge instead of food. Post-documentation and inspection, a lot of skeptical squinting from Dipper and a complaint from Stan, Ford had suggested they just all waited out. It was gone by the time you got back. You secretly hoped to catch a glimpse, but when you asked Ford about it, he assured you it was nothing special. Wouldn't even have ranked among his top 10, he said, pushing his glasses up his nose. After that series of fridge-related events, the shack fell quiet. Dipper ventured out with his camera equipment off to film something amazing. Okay. And stands in his office checking in with his sources, whatever that means. That leaves you and Ford both intently reading on the shack's patio. It's warm and comfortable, yet the overhang shields your eyes from the blinding summer light. You glance over at Ford. He looks calm and collected, same as he's been all week. Conversely, you've been a little nervous around him ever since Mabel's matchmaking interview. It's not that you haven't thought of him in that light before. It's that you never planned on actually trying it out. You can always ask Mabel to call off the matchmaking thing. After spending the past couple days convinced that Mabel was going to spring an unavoidable romantic situation on you at moment's notice, you'd rather not live with that kind of anxious anticipation. You settle back into your book, a paperback Ford lent you. It's a jargon-heavy sci-fi with an abstract cover you probably would have overlooked on a bookshelf, and you think you're about to see the first glimpse of the plot after a 3-chapter introduction. You go to turn the page of your book, but the back door slams open. Mabel explodes onto the porch armed with oven mitts and an apron. Elise, Grunkle Ford, I need your help, but I need it now. Ford sits up with a wide-eyed look, fixing his glasses that had been startled off the bridge of his nose. Cute. What is it? Is something burning? Is something burning in the kitchen? I need help baking. Ford relaxes enough to leave a bookmark in his dog-eared novel and close it, but looks to Mabel with an air of bewilderment. Granda's throwing Großdichhasenfurzen party for Marius when he comes to visit, and I volunteered to make cupcakes. I was like, yeah, I can totally bake a batch of cupcakes, but as it turns out, smoke unfurls from the back doorway, inevitably followed by the screech of the fire alarm inside. Mabel swings her mitted hands and winces guiltily. I can't. Mabel rushes back into the house, you and Ford coming close after. You reach the door in time to see Ford, unruffled, drag a chair over to the smoke detector and disable it as easily as flicking a light switch. As for the smoke, you go straight for the kitchen window and open it, fanning the smoke out of the house. Mabel looks guiltily at you both, attempting to waft the smoke out with her oven mitts. I can't talk today. Now that you really look at her and you notice there's flour on the sweater and the kitchen floor and the kitchen counter, leading to one lopsided bag of flour surrounded by a similar mess of ingredients. Looks like you could use a hand, Mabel. Why didn't you ask for help much sooner? I'm sorry, Grunkle Ford. I wanted to make them myself. She wilts under an exaggerated despair. But I need these cupcakes and I need your help. She points at Ford. And your help. Mabel then moves her pointer finger at you. Oh dear. Both of you absolutely need to help me with this. She looks between the two of you with those Mabel patented puppy dog eyes, and whatever will you had left to resist crumbles immediately. You pat her shoulder reassuringly. It's alright, Mabel. Baking is a difficult art, and even professionals have off days, and you glance at the oven that's still leaking lingering smoke. I think adult supervision might be good right now. Mabel nods, looking between you and Ford. Well, it'll be easy peasy with you and Grunkle Ford helping me. You look to Ford, and Ford just looks questioningly to Mabel. Why would you need both of us, Mabel? Because we need to make like a bajillion of these, so many. This is a huge party. Plus, the more people that make them, the more love these cupcakes will have. There needs to be so much love in these cupcakes. That doesn't please, Grunkle Ford. You and Elise are super conveniently the only ones who can help me. Maybe Dipper, he's out filming. He won't be back until sunset. It's gotta be you two. Ford glances hopelessly out the hallway for one moment, and Mabel gives you a conspiratorial wink while she's not looking, and then it dawns on you. This is your match-made date with Ford. Is it getting hot in here, or is it just the oven? Well, please, Grunkle Ford. Elise is going to help out already, right, Elise? Yes, that's what I want. Heart picking up in its pace, you hazard a look at Ford to find him looking oddly contemplative now compared to before. He looks to you for a fleeting moment you catch out of the corner of your eye. His attention's back on Mabel by the time you register it, and Ford nods to her. Alright, what do we need to do? Yes! Okay, first rule in baking, wear an apron. There's never a wrong time to make a fashion statement. Mabel holds two aprons out, one scarlet red and the other white. You have absolutely no idea when Mabel even retrieved these aprons in the first place, but she's already picked who gets which one. The red apron is tossed to you and the white one is thrown to Ford. You put it on and look down at yourself to read an upside down "Burn Baby Burn" printed across your chest with a picture of a fiery grill beneath it. Fittingly, it smells a little like burning. Ford's apron has some green text you didn't quite catch, but he loops it over his head and ties it so you can read it clearly. My other oven is a Bunsen. You stifle a laugh as you read text now clear over his broad chest. My other oven is a Bunsen. That's wonderful. I love it. Let's make a nerdy joke. Hey Ford, are you made of copper and tellurium? It only takes a second for Ford to flush pink with understanding, fiddling with the hem of his apron. Okay Mabel, what's our next step? The second rule in baking is to know your recipe. It's got everything. The ingredients, the instructions, and the temperature. Ford looks to the counter and picks up a piece of paper. You guess it's the recipe, judging by the frilly looking photo of a 3-tiered cake on the back. He scans over the ingredients focused. And the third rule is baking is forget your recipe. Wait, no it's not. But that's the only if rule 2 doesn't work out. How are we looking, Grunkle Ford? I was worried we'd be short on sugar, but I think we'll make it. Are you switching recipes, Mabel? These ingredients listed here aren't already on the counter. Mabel laughs loudly and attempts to clap Ford on the shoulder. She only manages to reach his elbow, and you suddenly suspect that whatever baked good Mabel had burned in the oven earlier was a fabricated failure. Aha! Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. You glance at the stovetop. The open box of store-bought cookies sitting on top confirms your suspicion. Oh, Grunkle Ford, you tell the best jokes. That wasn't a joke. Oh, look, we need flour, and I already have that out. Next. Ford reads the list of ingredients aloud, and Mabel darts around the kitchen, gathering them as he calls them out. You set to work finding the utensils Mabel needs, searching through unfamiliar drawings she points out to you. After opening nearly every cupboard, you come up with an array of mismatched measuring cups, 2½ teaspoons, and a dented tablespoon. Good enough. How many cupcakes do you need for tomorrow, Mabel? At least 100. You give her an undisguised look of incredulity, and Mabel sends back a series of gestures telling you to go along with it, pointing at Ford's thoughtful face and mouthing, "He bought it." So since the recipe makes 25, we may quadruple the recipe. You're bewildered that Ford doesn't question the quantity. Instead, he's starting to factor how many acceptable cupcake pans he can find in the cupboards, grumbling as he's searching through the clanks and dull thuds of other bakeware. Oof, when is the last time, Stanley? Ah, there they are. Looks like we have one that's rusted and one that hasn't. It needs to get the pan that's already in the oven if we can manage to clean it. Oh no, definitely uncleanable. It's totally burned. Batter everywhere. Elisa, can you? Mabel makes gestures to disposing evidence of her baking failure, and you wince but nod. Seizing your chance while Ford is back turned, you open the oven, grab whatever's inside the oven mitt, and rush outside to drop it in a trash can midway around the shack. It turns out to be a couple store-bought cookies dropped in a muffin pan and left to burn to a crisp. You shake the cookies out into the trash, leaving you with a still hot but perfectly serviceable pan. Okay, let's save. Because I might make the wrong choice, take the pan back and call it a miracle. You return to the kitchen. Look, the pan is actually fine, how lucky. Ford gives Mabel an amusing look. Oh, jeez. Yes, how fortunate. Mabel gives Ford a winning smile, which must be enough for Ford, because Ford lights up with a smile soon after, shaking his head fondly. You see that Ford has bought a mixing bowl out while you were gone and wiped away most of the excess flour from the counter. He settles back into the role of recipe reader now that you're back. I've already turned down the oven to the correct temperature. Mabel notably doesn't look sheepish in the slightest, still grinning in front of the mixing bowl. So our next step is to add butter. I'll measure it out. And so you settle into a rhythm. Mabel measures ingredients and tosses them in. Ford reads out the recipe, pausing occasionally to balance out Mabel's haphazard method of throwing ingredients into the bowl, and you mix everything into a suitable batter. 2 ingredients later, you notice that Ford rolled up his sleeves to his elbows as he works. You could get used to the sight of him like this. Damn, son. You don't notice Ford returning your stare until he clears his throat. Apparently, your ogling lasted just a moment too long. Elise? Yeah? I just added the first cup of flour. You can't stir it now. Oh, right. Ford adds another cup as you stir the ingredients together, trying to ignore how red your face feels. Aw, look at you two working so well together. It's like you don't even need me to be perfect. You know she's talking about the matchmaking, but Ford doesn't take it that way. That's not entirely accurate. You're an essential member of our baking trio. After all, who else is creative enough to come up with an unifying theme for all these cupcakes? You're right, I hadn't even thought about that yet. Mabel, standing on a chair next to Ford to reach the counter, hops up and sits at the edge of the counter. Lovey-dovey or lovey-dovey? God, I can't decide. While Mabel works it out with her creative genius, Ford scoops out the last cup of flour, going to wipe up the excess back into the bag with his finger. Wait, I have the perfect idea. She lifts her arm in triumph and promptly sends Ford a heaped cup of flour flying. Mabel! Ford fumbles to catch it but ultimately fails and the cup along with the bag falls into the mixing bowl, sending a mushroom cloud of flour into your faces. Mabel. Flour cakes Ford's glasses along with his nose, cheeks and forehead and the front of his hair to the point where the color is indistinguishable from his usually streak of gray. Mabel, thankfully sitting to the side at their perch on the counter, only got half covered in the explosion of the flour, even though she's already got various spots of flour all over her sweater. Oops. It's okay, Mabel. Here, take this and dust the flour off. Mabel attempts to brush flour off her sweater as Ford takes off his glasses, brushing puffs of white from the lenses and wiping them clean with the hem of his turtleneck. He manages to clear most of the flour off his skin, but he missed a spot. Ford? I'm fine. I've had many messier adventures in my time than a bit of flour. No, that's not it. Brush his hair out yourself. You reach over to brush it out. Ford gives you an uncertain expression but stands still, letting you make contact. Your fingers only run through his hair for a second, but it was enough time for you to register how fluffy and flowery it is. You can't help the smell that tugs at your lips as you finish. You just had some flour in there. Did I? Mabel has stopped dusting herself off and is now looking between you and Ford with such anticipation that you're getting self-conscious under her attention. Ford seems to notice too, because he takes an unnecessary step back and awkwardly clears his throat. Right, flour, mistake, let's fix it. The three of you take a moment to stare at the disaster zone on the counter. Looks like the only thing we can do now is guess how much flour was added and scale the amount of the rest of the ingredients to match it? I was going to start over. But that's a brilliant idea, Elisa, let's do it. Mabel, do you have another bowl for this operation? Good thing I found this mega big bowl for mixing. Mabel presents a vessel more akin to a tub than a mixing bowl. It's clean though, and Ford transfers the batter over. Good call, Mabel. Are you secretly a psychic? Nope, just a little thing I like to call the power of Mabel, aka psychic. She does an exaggerated exaggerated jazz hands, shaking more flour off in the process. The three of you laugh before beginning. Why can't I talk today? What's wrong with me? I'm just so flustered over my other oven is a Bunsen mister over here. Before beginning the post-flour mission. Due to the mishap, you now need to flour. Oh my god. You now need 4 times the other ingredients to match the flour that got dumped into the bowl. An inconvenience, but not impossible. As you measure out more sugar, you spot Ford adding to the bowl by cracking 2 eggs at a time in each hand. Dang, show off. He is a show off. He's secretly a good baker, isn't he? The kitchen is quiet during the bustle of measuring, adding, and remixing, but after a couple of minutes, Mabel sighs. What's up, Mabel? I don't know, Elise. It feels silly to talk about. Nothing is too silly. Well, that's a broad statement, but the point is we're willing to listen. Well, Grenda and Marius are throwing this party on Marius's yacht, right? You have no idea who either of these people are, but play along for Mabel's sake. Yeah? They're really getting into that romance zone. Grenda even told me that they kissed. Yay, Grenda, my girl. Smooch that German prince. Ford only gives this mild acknowledgement, so you have to amp up the reaction zone. They did not. They did so, can you believe that? I seriously cannot believe that. Ford looks lost as he continues to mix the batter together. And I'm really happy for Grenda, I am, but sometimes I feel a little jealous. Oh man, I know that feeling. Let's save. Grenda's like one of my best friends. I don't get why I can't just be happy for her without feeling this way. Everyone feels like that sometimes. I know I do. Because around me people are hooking up, getting girlfriends and boyfriends, and in the meantime I'm here sitting like, I like trains. I don't like trains, but you get the meme, don't you? All you can do is try your best to stay positive for her, even if you're feeling a little bitter inside. And just know that eventually this feeling will pass. Really, everyone gets this way, even with friends. It doesn't mean you're a bad friend or anything. This is true because jealousy is a normal emotion. It's about what you do with your emotion that makes it bad or good. Like if you let it, if you act on it badly, if you start treating your friends like shit just because you're jealous, that makes you a shitty friend, not the emotion makes you a shitty friend. Thanks, Elise. And anyway, if this is about the romance, Mabel, you're only a teenager. You might feel like you're watching your friends get married and settle down so quickly, but that doesn't start happening until you get to 25. You're a wonderful girl, you're smart, pretty, and you can probably make a mean batch of cupcakes. I know that whoever you end up loving will be lucky to have you, and that perfect relationship will come your way in any time. Mabel seems to brighten, and she smiles at you gratefully. Then she looks thoughtful. Getting married. I wonder when someone I know will get married. She's non-specific, but Ford pointedly cuffs into his fist. Wait, we need to make these cupcakes extra special before we can bake them. I thought they already were. Weren't we going to split this into 3 parts, add food coloring, marble them in? No, that's just special. I'm thinking extra special. Explosion rocks! You mean that tiny candy that makes your mouth all tingling? Exactly, I'm gonna go grab my supply. Oh, that's awesome. I love that kind of candy. Mabel dashes out to get the candy, leaving you and Ford alone in the kitchen. Oh! That's Salvanite right there. That is Salvanite. Normally you expect the atmosphere to turn awkward, but you find yourself anticipating something instead. You give Ford a smile. Good job calculating how much we needed to salvage the cupcakes. Let's save on that beautiful picture. I can look at that all day. Look at that smile. Ford laughs, leaning back against the counter. Oh, I just eyeballed it and adjusted based on the batter's apparent viscosity. No calculation involved. And well, I couldn't let all our hard work go to waste after you suggested salvaging it. I don't get it. You wanted to start over? Well, I had a whole plan in mind. We were going to quadruple the recipe and now it's more like octuple. But I think this was better route to take. Now that I think about it, that was the last of our flour. Wait, damn. Stanley needs flour for pancakes this week. Would he take cupcakes for breakfast instead? We're gonna have plenty extra. Why don't you guys just go to the store? Are you broke? I've got money. I'll pay for flour. Knowing him, I think the probability is very high. You were about to say something else, leaning in to continue the conversation, when Mabel re-enters the room. She's carrying a cardboard box stuffed to the brim with bright packets of explosion rocks. Sweet. Literally, because it's candy. I'm back. Alright, let's add these puppies in and make some cupcake magic. You and Ford start helping Mabel decant the explosion rocks into the batter. Ford glances at you as you shake the last packet into the bowl. Both of you know that the consumers of these cupcakes will get an unpleasant surprise from them exploding in their mouth, especially since the multicolor candy makes the batter look like an unassuming funfetti cupcakes. That's actually pretty cool. I would like to have some of those cupcakes. Maybe I'll make some myself this week. I've got plenty of time, it's vacation. Then it's time to split the batter and marble them in the pan. The three colors Mabel chose are deep purple, blue and pink, which she says ties in perfectly with our theme. It sure does. So are you going to tell us what the theme is yet? Nope, let's get these in the oven. Ford picks up both pans and sticks them in the oven to bake. There's still plenty of batter in the mixing bowl. You've barely skimmed the surface with the first batch. You and Ford share another look. Alright, it's time for the best part. Frosting. What kind do we have? It's not what kind do we have, it's what kind are we making. Mabel presents another recipe card. Oh geez. Thankfully the frosting is far easier to make than the batter. By the time you and Mabel separate out the sugary result in a few different bowls for the coloring, the first batch of cupcakes came out of the oven 10 minutes ago and have cooled down on the counter. As Mabel puts it, they're ready to be Mabelified. Ford grins at her and he starts dyeing a bowl of icing bright pink. Decorating the cupcakes is by far the most fun part of the afternoon. The three of you sit around the kitchen table. Mabel purposefully sits you and Ford next to each other while she takes the remaining spot, and you use different frosting tips to make designs on all the cupcakes. Mabel had finally revealed her theme to be outer space because space is full of romance. And this way I can say their compatibility is out of this world. So the three of you cover marbled cupcakes in galaxy-worthy combinations of colored frosting. Ford, to put it simply, is delighted by the theme. You're pretty sure the constellations he painstakingly iced on his last 25 cupcakes will pass as illustrations in a stargazer's guide. Oh my god, it's going to be such a shame to eat those things. In the middle of completing a second Orion, Ford gets some icing on his face. A drip of blue somehow made it onto his chin, probably from testing the icing to make sure it tasted good. It did, of course. Mabel kicks you from under the table. Ow. Shh. And she nods her head towards her Grunkle, giving you a meaningful look that Ford completely misses. He wipes most of it off, but there's now a streak of blue at his cheek, so you... Smear it with my finger. Mabel stares you down, pressing her hands together, but you can't. You don't even know if Ford feels the same way, if at all. You don't want him to freak out with what she wants you to do. can't let this icing go to waste. What? You swipe your finger across his cheek and quickly stick it in your mouth, sucking the icing off. It tastes great, thankfully, something to distract you from your and Ford's matching blushes. You could have told me it was there, and let you get the first try of the icing? Nah. Fair enough. Is it good? You grin at them both, glad that Ford wasn't too uncomfortable by your fairly forward move. It's delicious. We make a good team. You say that to Mabel, but you turn to Ford. He smiles at you knowingly before going back to icing his cupcake. Eventually, the three of you finish decorating over 100 cupcakes. Looking at them all lined up on the counter, you can really see the declining quality as you, Ford, and Mabel got worn out. The last few have frosting in solid colors, with just a handful of star-shaped sprinkles on top. I can't believe we're finally done. Yes, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I've had enough of the night sky to last me the rest of the week. But we're not done. Mabel sounds about as peppy as she has all day, even though she must be as tired as you and Ford. There's just one last thing to do. Clean up? Because we have a huge mess here. No, Grunkle Ford, more important than that, more urgent, more desperately needed. Ford looks perplexed. What could that be? The glitter! Mabel pulls over a sizable tub of blue edible glitter that had been sitting at the back corner of the counter for you're guessing the whole afternoon you've been in there. Unscrewing the lid reveals its sparkling shiny contents. Each of you grab hats full of glitter, sprinkling liberally over each cupcake. The only person who seems to be hesitating is Ford, who keeps stopping to attempt glitter gradients in order to keep his earlier icing work clear of glitter. Mabel always comes in after him though and fills in the blanks so that the whole thing sparkles. Soon enough, the tub is left nearly empty. Great! All of these are for the party. Except this one's for Dipper, this one's for Grunkle Stan, this one's for Waddles. Mabel puts the exceptions aside, and in the end, the three of you grab a cupcake each and reward for an afternoon's hard work. You tap them together in a pseudo toast and absolutely devour them. The cupcake tastes odd, but that's what makes it amazing. It's probably the explosion rocks. You can detect, the faint spice of love and adoration. A good, if not perfect, cupcake. The remaining cupcakes are strategically fitted into the pantry among the cheese, boodles, and various other snack foods ready to be brought to the party tomorrow afternoon. Mabel stretches and yawns dramatically before grabbing the plate of cupcakes that had been set aside. Well, I better get these over to the boys. You know how Grunkle Stan gets when he smells something cooking and doesn't get a taste. You're not quite sure you do, but Ford nods knowingly, so it must be true. Anyway, I'll leave you two lovebirds alone. Thanks for the help, and you're welcome for my help. Mabel sends a wink and a finger gun as she leaves. Your heart freezes in your chest as Ford looks at Mabel's exit with an unreadable look, then faces you. You see, I know what's going on. This isn't the first time Mabel's tried to find my match. You can't find the words to express your mixture of relief and confusion. Ford explains. I suppose she's at that age where kids are thinking about romance and dating. Stanley and I are just two of her recent subjects for these compatibility experiments. Last time Mabel reached out to Mermando to set me up with a merman. She didn't tell me what kind of situation it was, so I unknowingly grilled him with enough scientific queries about mer people to send him back on the water with a grumpy burble. Ford gives you a small, genuine smile. But I can't say it's been all bad. After all, I haven't managed to repeat that kind of mistake yet here. Okay, let's see. I want to see the multiple choices. If you did, you'd be surprised how much I know about mer people. It gives you an amused chuckle. You both look around at the disaster scene of a kitchen. Since Mabel conveniently had other things to do, she left you and Ford with the task of cleaning everything. Ford rolls off his sleeves and adjusts his glasses. Okay, let's try this one. How do you think it's going? Ford shrugs, though he's sporting a light blush. I think this one has potential. Hee. Let's try the high 6. It's a little goofy, but you're not quite ready to make any Mabel approving moves on him yet, especially when he's still caked in floor and icing. You hold up a hand and grin at him. We make a good team, cupcakes or otherwise, and you better tell me more about these mer people. Ford laughs and returns your high 5, 6 offer. I'll be sure to tell you all about them after we fix this mess. Let's go with the flirt. Oh. Okay. Load? It's a good thing I saved on this thing. Hee hee hee. You both look around. Come on, let's get this kitchen cleaned up. Yay. Alright, I'm going to end it here because I have to go to physiotherapy soon. But I've had fun, and for this actually... yes, please. That's all I'm going to say. Yes, please. Well, see you guys in the next episode of the Grunkling Funkeling. Bye-bye!